Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where two mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation. Now, here are your hosts, Darth Jada and Jason Mitchell.
Hello.
Good evening, Hindsighters, and welcome back to the exciting edition of our quarantine episode.
Yes, I can't believe we actually have an audience applauding for us. It's almost like they're not real.
They're all wearing gloves and face masks, so they had to go through a very special antibiotic sort of spray to get into the studio today.
But the truth is, they usually do.
Oh,
anyway.
Oh, that was pre-installed. Okay.
That's par for the course.
You never told me about that, so that's good to know.
Well, so.
Oh no, I just touched my nose.
Oh,
we're all going to die.
Yeah, we've all got coronavirus.
Yeah. Sorry, gentlemen.
You out there watching? You?
All of you. You have corona
you
now.
have coronavirus now.
You're welcome.
So, welcome to our quarantine special. We're here. We're recording.
With a special call-in listener. You may not even know who this is. That's how rare of a friend this is. So, guest caller, would you like to introduce yourself to the Hindsighters?
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take him away.
Gay.
This is Adam B. Adam B. calling from my bunker in Georgia, North Georgia. I'm not going to divulge the location.
I already know your name.
Zombies everywhere.
In an undisclosed location.
Man.
Well, he was one of those top security people.
I wouldn't miss it for the world, virtually.
Well, we decided to do. We are still going to be talking about a movie today.
Yeah, a top-notch movie for
yes.
the situation that we find ourselves in, Hindsighters.
But
what movie is that?
Well, we're also going to be talking about some quarantine stuff.
Yes, quarantine coping tips and some of the things we've been reading, listening to, watching to cope with the quarantine, as it were. So. Yeah,
and the first thing I would say is everybody, as soon as you're done listening to this, go listen to Scott Adams.
Okay.
Because he'll make you feel better because he's a very intelligent person and he won't pull punches, but you'll feel more optimistic. Okay. I think after you listen to this, these are very weird times. We all know that, and many of us are trapped at home. Some of us have to pretend to be working.
Some of us can't get away with that illusion. We actually do have to work, unfortunately. So,
well, and I'm actually getting a little tired of people talking about, we just go home and work from home. Some people just can't do that.
No, they don't have the capability.
Right. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Survivor Man.
I've seen snippets here and there.
I'm a big fan of Les Stroud, and Les did a video a few days ago, and he was talking about he was traveling through an airport, and I think it was evening, and there was a guy there who was, he shined shoes, and he said, well, I'm going to go patronize this guy.
What, you can't shine shoes from home?
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, and he asked the guy, he's at a major airport, and he said, how many customers have you had? And he said, you're my second for the day.
Oh.
So, yeah, you can't just go work from home if you're that guy.
No, you have to physically be there. That's true.
But for those of you that are, what a great opportunity
to
watch the trilogy.
The start of the trilogy.
The start of the trilogy. I say go ahead and watch them all, and we're going to get into this. But we are talking about what year did this come out?
2004.
Oh, my God. 2004?
Yes, it's nearly 20 years old. I know. That's mind-boggling, isn't it?
The Coronita trilogy.
Yes.
Episode 1 of that. We are, of course, talking about the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost epic zombie movie, Shaun of the Dead. And we're gonna get into the movie, and we're gonna get into some other stuff. But Darth, why don't you sort of take it away and tell us a little bit
about quarantine or about Shaun of the Dead?
Either.
Well, I guess we can get into our quarantine coping mechanisms in a little while, or we can mention them now. However you guys want to do it. Well, one of the things that I've been doing to cope with the quarantine is kind of laugh at Twitter. Everything that's going on Twitter, obviously.
Easy to do.
So yeah, some people take it far too seriously. Imagine that. But I saw this really aggressive tweet the other day where a woman was saying, yeah, you people without kids don't know how lucky you are to be quarantined with no children. And then I saw this slew of comments saying, no, we know. We don't have them by choice. So it got pretty nasty pretty quickly. But
it's amazing how quickly this situation sort of devolves into people again, like everything else we do, sort of getting into armed camps and shooting at each other.
Yeah, comparing their situations with others. And it's like, okay, there's no need to get angry. Nobody planned this, I promise. So, but
well, let's go ahead and talk some coping things.
Absolutely.
One thing that I would suggest everybody do is go read a book on the Battle of Britain.
Okay.
And you'll suddenly realize that this is no big fucking deal. Yeah.
Did you get bombed here in America? Did you get bombed here?
Right,
No,
yeah.
a bit of a plane overhead. No.
Well. No, we just lost Adam. Adam B.
His bunker is the only thing keeping him alive now, but we lost connection.
Adam? Can you tell us, has the coronavirus broken through the door yet?
Has the strafing begun?
Chair up against the door and hump, and my broom ready to beat it away.
All right. Yes. Just remember, if any Chinese coronavirus shows up, you beat it off.
Oh my.
Hey, don't talk about my personal life. Okay.
I think most guys have filled their quota for that for the week anyway at this point, because this is Friday, gentlemen. We've been in quarantine for over a damn week now.
I know. You get to a certain point where you're like, I'd rather go outside for a walk.
Oh, no.
But then you remember you can't, so.
Right. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just gonna say, I'm eagerly awaiting the next baby boom 9 months from now.
Yes.
What are we going to call that group of children, gentlemen? The kids that are born in this coming December because their parents were trapped in the house together for way too long.
You got to put Corona in there somewhere, because I know that I've started referring to
the Corona minis. Like the little mini bottles that they do.
No. Coronitas.
Is that what it? Yeah, the Coronitas.
Coronitas.
We solved it. Done. Yep, the Coronitas. That's going to be the name of their generation.
Yes.
Stay horny, my friend. Stay horny, my friend. Oh, that's not. Oh no, that's not Corona. That's Dos Equis. Never mind.
It's all the same.
I don't often get quarantined, but when I do.
Yeah. We've actually started referring to Chromebooks, because everybody, all the school kids are getting Chromebooks to go home with. So those are now officially known as Corona books.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But go read a book on the Battle of Britain. 80 years ago, almost to the day, March 1940, if you look at what people in Britain were going through right now, it wasn't a question of if Germans were going to invade and kill half the population of Britain.
More of a matter of when, yeah.
And,
memory serves.
And they did it. They made it through. They survived. But that's not what our audience is here for. They want to hear about crappy movies and TV shows.
Well, I've got some non-crappy books that I'd like to talk about that have helped me cope through the Corona pandemic. So, Hindsighters, I actually have a couple of friends who are incredibly talented, and they've both written books.
Thank you.
See, he always thinks that the voices are cheering for him. He thinks that I'm always talking about him. He's very self-involved. But there are 2 books out right now, which you can purchase on Amazon. One of them is called The Rolling Pin by my good friend, M.A. Kennedy. That book actually just came out this week. So feel free to go shopping for that. My friend lives in France now, but she's a homegrown author. And she actually used to work with me back in my Bahama Breeze days. So give that book a check and please read it while you're just stuck at home, especially now when we need entertainment now more than ever.
Her picture on the back of the book, though, looks a little judgmental.
Well, I'm going to tell her you said that, Jason.
No, it's a good picture. I'm not. No. But she looks like she's kind of judging me.
Well, it is a sad story. So. It's a story about internment camps during World War II. So,
and that's
she might be a little sadder on the back cover. That makes sense. Anyhow, moving right along, I have another more serious book. It's actually called Battle for the Wastelands by my friend Matt Quinn. And that book has actually been out for a few months now, but you can also buy it on Amazon. So please feel free to check it out. It's actually been saving me, both of these books. They kept me quite entertained. They're both very well written. So,
and it has, I say it's about politicians.
No,
because
the cover has dirigibles and a cowboy astride his horse.
It's a horse's ass.
Oh,
so, I thought it was about politicians. So
yeah, please give those books a check out as soon as you can. Check them out on Amazon.
Well, I wanted to make some suggestions to folks about some things that you should stream. TV's going to get a little old for you if you're quarantined, as Adam, I'm sure you can right now probably tell us. The last time I was quarantined, I watched every episode of Twin Peaks.
The last time you were quarantined?
When I had the flu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 2 years ago, I had the H1N1 something.
Oh, you had that
flu.
new strain or whatever?
Yeah, so I had to live in my basement for a couple weeks. And
your wife just stuck you down in the basement for 2 weeks?
She actually had it, and then I had it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we actually traded quarantines. It was not fun. But no, so let's talk about some things that you can stream right now to alleviate the misery.
Absolutely.
We'll
get to the movie eventually.
Yeah. Well, and one of the suggestions I have, and I'll go first, I guess, my first suggestion, and you can watch this on Amazon. I think it's free with ads with the IMDb Pro thing. So if you go to Amazon, you can watch it. It is the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost TV series, Spaced.
Yes. Which was a lot of inspiration for the movie that we are discussing today.
Yeah, absolutely. This movie, if you've seen Spaced, Shaun of the Dead is like Spaced, but it's not as good because Spaced was just so brilliant.
Okay.
And there were so many episodes and there was so much that they did. But have you seen it?
I have not. I actually just learned about it today while I was doing my research for Shaun of the Dead. So I'm familiar with it now, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic series. It centers around Simon Pegg, his character, and his ex-girlfriend in Shaun of the Dead.
I can't remember her name.
What her name is.
Not sure.
Yeah.
I can look it up.
But the two of them basically are homeless people living in England. They've been kicked out. Or, well, he broke up with his girlfriend or whatever. But they're trying to find a place to live, and unfortunately, they can't find any place that they can afford that doesn't have a restriction saying only couples, because that's a common thing over there that, you only rent to professional couples and things like that. So they fake it and they pretend to be a couple and they move in and that's the show. But it's basically, imagine a show that is filmed and written exactly like a horror movie, but it isn't. But it just looks, they constantly do things that are like things you would see in a horror movie.
Okay.
But it isn't a horror movie. And in fact, one of the episodes inspired Shaun of the Dead. There is an episode where one of the characters, because of inebriation, believes that he is being attacked by zombies.
Oh, he hallucinates that he's part of a video game, right? Yeah, I read that.
And so that was sort of the basis of Shaun of the Dead. So anyway, my first suggestion, Spaced. You can find it on Amazon, and it's free with ads. But, hey.
It looks like it's on Hulu now as well if you have a subscription.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, Jessica Hines was who you were thinking
Yep,
of, the actress who plays the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
They keep running into each other in the streets of London as you see the outbreak starting to happen. But,
I'm actually surprised she's not more in this movie, given how much they work together on that show. She's got a very small part in this movie.
But the appearances she does have are really funny. So they go a long way. But so, Mr. Brown, what have you been doing to cope with the quarantine?
Well, I've been singing songs to my children. And they can't believe that these are actual songs. Like, for instance, the 1979 song by the My Corona. My Corona.
Yeah.
My.
Woo!
So they're like, oh, Dad, quit making up these songs. We're that creative.
Oh, children.
Only a generation blitzed out of their mind on lewds and weed would listen to these.
Lewds and weed. Oh, my.
Yeah,
it's true.
Goddamn right.
It's true. Okay, so singing songs, campfire style, cool.
Singing songs, trying to keep a certain level of discipline around the household. I'm really leveraging my military skills. I get them up at 8 o'clock sharp every day to make their bunks, eat their breakfast, shower, and get to work. My daughter's like, Dad, we're off. Why can't I go to bed late and get up late? And I just said, you can't, honey. It's like being on a submarine. We got it.
Is she earning her dolphins right now? Is that what's happening?
Yes. She actually, we were doing some sanding outside. We just put a pergola in, so it's not really a bunker, but we're doing some housework. And she asked if she did do this, if I'd buy her concert tickets. I'm like, honey, there's not going to be any more concerts.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
I thought it was bleak before because he was being such a hard ass on his children. But my God.
Daddy, can I go see my friends? Your friends are dead.
They all went outside and died. That's what happened.
Didn't you hear? They're gone.
That has been tough to watch, but I have to give a shout out to some of my artist friends like Blair Crimmins. He set up a virtual tip jar and he went live on Facebook playing his music. If you haven't checked out Blair Crimmins and the Hookers, you absolutely should.
Yes, you should.
They're an amazing band, my favorite band.
Yeah.
And Blair has been streaming live on Facebook and you can Venmo him tips if you want to. So I can look that up and put it in the show notes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We've
Is it and the Hookers? Did you say with it?
Yes, Blair Crimmins and the Hookers.
Okay, I'm
he has a music
interested.
he has a music video with Muppets
He does.
that is absolutely brilliant.
He does. He's a brilliant artist. I've seen him many times in concert. Actually got to see him for my birthday a couple of weeks ago, before the world shut down.
Yeah,
I was fortunate enough to see one of the last concerts ever put on by mankind.
But you're not joking though. We had tickets to go see Ben Folds in June. Mm-hmm. And I just got an email today that now Ben Folds will be playing in November.
Oh, I knew how excited you were about
the Monday
too.
before Thanksgiving, which is great though because the tickets weren't cheap, and now I have an excuse to not go anywhere for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
thanks, coronavirus.
See, you got to find that silver lining somehow.
I was doing that at Disney World so many times. Anytime we went to some place where the line wasn't very long, David and I would just go, "There's no line. Thanks, coronavirus."
There's a special rung of hell. Just for people like us.
Thanks, Dodge.
For whom, Sterling? I don't know, Pontiac. But yeah, so sorry, Mr. Brown, we interrupted. So besides you being completely evil to your children, what else is keeping you entertained during the quarantine?
Well, I'm doing some homeschooling.
Okay.
I am teaching my children how to handle firearms.
Nice.
And hand-to-hand combat. That's really critical.
Nice.
Good.
We've got a punching bag and, the usual stuff for survival post-apocalypse, which we're not post-apocalypse yet.
No. We're kind of mid-apocalypse at the moment.
Well, but, in California, there are people waiting 5 hours to get into gun stores to buy guns.
Oh, my.
And it's hilarious because I actually read a quote. There was a guy who said, I think I need to buy a gun. I think what they call them like Glocks or something.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, dude, you're the last person
that
who
needs to buy a gun. Yeah, no, don't go to the gun store.
I wouldn't trust you with a sharpened stick.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy looking around going, where'd you get your guns? The gun store? So he doesn't even know where to go.
No, it's interesting you said that because I'm not a prepper, but I do prep a bit.
And you have been stockpiling guns for quite some time now. Yeah, so I think you're all set.
I've got many rounds. Say again? Yes, I'm a collector.
That's the diplomatic way of phrasing it.
Well, and I went to the place where I've bought most of my ammunition, and I've bought thousands of rounds through this one company.
Oh my!
And they're not just out because I usually buy 223 and 9mm, and they're not just out of those. They're literally out of every bullet that they sell.
My God!
They don't have. I've seen it before where the price has been high, and they've said, "Oh well, we can't get it to you for a few weeks." They're literally just, we don't have any. We're out.
Good God!
Yeah,
that's horrifying.
So all the bullets have been bought.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That is one thing that we were secure about at my house. We are stocked up on weaponry and food, so we're doing okay for right now. So, if you do find out where we live, hindsighters are trolls more likely. Don't try it.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it.
No.
Yeah.
Even Adam's kids will attack you, so yes. I wouldn't bet on that.
Yeah. Well, you got to teach your kids to be self-sufficient.
We'll either look back on this time and laugh, or have a memorial ceremony for Jason.
Oh man,
he was such a good man. Why did the coronavirus have to take him so soon?
He didn't quarantine properly.
Coronavirus ain't gonna give me.
I'm just gonna knock on our desk for you. Yep, knock on wood if it's made out of real wood. Hopefully, otherwise it doesn't count.
When I was in college, I had like a 2-year-long battle with a chest illness.
Oh no,
that was like debilitating. I mean, I missed class, all this kind of stuff.
Was it pneumonia or bronchitis? Or
it was a bacterial infection.
Oh God!
And I literally went to, I don't know how many doctors I ended up going to, but there was one doctor that I finally went to, who said, we're not going to treat we're not going to treat the bacteria. I'm not going to give you more antibiotics. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you this medicine that's going to make every single thing in your body that's not supposed to be there leave. And it was a religious experience for about 3 days. And then I was cured. I was totally fine after that.
Wow.
But it was like a 2-year-long thing, with this.
God, I can't even imagine.
So sort of like, coronavirus.
You ain't scared.
So you're one of the X-Men now.
Yes.
He's part of the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. He evolved, but
yeah, we just sit around drinking. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, because chest infections are just the worst. Because even having bronchitis, I think I had it about 5 or 6 years ago. That's the most miserable I've ever been in my life.
It's bad. It's real bad.
It's horrible. You can't breathe. You feel like you're just fighting for air every single minute of every day. It's like a sauna in your lungs, and it's terrible. So I can't even imagine dealing with it for 2 years. I think I had it for about 6 months.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we're not sitting here not taking this seriously. I mean, obviously we are taking it seriously.
No, we've been quarantined the entire week. We're both healthy. We're both isolated, and we made Adam stay home because we're not sure what he's gotten into lately.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think part of being reasonable about all this is you take it seriously, but you don't let it take over your life.
Right.
It's like anything else. I know a particular person right now who has cancer. And one of the things that this person has said repeatedly is that the danger of cancer isn't just that it can kill you, it's that it can become your entire life.
Yeah.
And we can't let stuff like this become our entire lives. We've got to keep going. We got to be able to, watch TV, watch movies and stuff. So having said that, do either of you have a show to recommend to the ladies and gentlemen?
Adam, you can take that one away if you want.
The Man from Atlantis.
Oh.
Patrick Duffy.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
Oh, I love Dallas.
I panicked. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Patrick Duffy.
Patrick Duffy.
I've got another one that I just found that is the most amazing show I've ever seen, and I've never heard of it before. Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently back in like maybe 10 years ago in Canada, some genius said, let's do a show about like, mysterious things, kind of like, there's tons of shows that talk about like UFOs and, weird like psychic phenomenon and all.
You don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
What?
But there was a genius who said, let's do one of those shows hosted by William Shatner.
Oh my.
And it's the greatest show. It's called Weird or What with William Shatner.
Like you do.
And the beginning of every episode is William Shatner going through his neighborhood in California, I assume, on a horse, talking to the camera about the fact that he's seen a lot of things.
Oh God.
And
done a lot of space women. But
you might think I've seen everything, but I haven't. There's still things that keep me awake at night. And it's the most awesome show in the world. It's called Weird or What. There's 2 seasons of it that are available on Amazon Prime. So if you have a Prime subscription, you can watch it for free. There is a first season that I think was actually hosted by somebody else, so who gives a shit. So the Shatner years are available to stream, and I highly advise you've got to watch it because it's the craziest, kookiest stuff, plus William Shatner.
Okay.
And he does skits. He has like little William Shatner skits, and they wouldn't be funny if anyone else did it.
This sounds too perfect. I have to check this out.
Well, along that same line, I have to say, if you haven't seen it yet, Google Leonard Nimoy singing about Bilbo Baggins.
Oh, a classic.
You will be very
What?
entertained.
Oh, Bilbo.
No, I
Bilbo
understand,
Baggins.
but I have not. How do I not know about this?
I don't know, because it's one of the greatest things
Oh
in
my
history.
God. I knew I was friends with you guys for a reason.
It's a little terrifying.
Uh-oh.
It's just a little terrifying.
Well,
but,
we knew Leonard Nimoy was a pretty hardcore nerd back when he was alive.
Bravest little hobbit of them all. No, seriously, that's the song.
I can't.
It is. And that's why I said it, because if Jade hasn't seen it, there's probably a few other listeners that have not seen or heard about this.
Quite possible,
and you
yes.
absolutely must.
Yeah.
And then after that, Google Leonard Nimoy was it a Mercedes commercial? He does a car commercial where he is competing with Zach Quinto to get to the golf course.
Oh.
They're each taking different cars. And as he's driving his car, he's singing Bilbo Baggins. And you're like, why the heck is he doing that? And it will all make sense.
Oh my! And then if you haven't watched anything else, we do have Mr. Brown's feature film Strike Zone that you can watch.
Harder to get your hands on that one, though.
You would know, but we had a link to it. Didn't you make that available or no?
Not publicly.
Oh, well, damn.
No.
I thought you were going to do that. Never mind.
The Germans will come after me.
They'll pinpoint your location.
In the middle of this present crisis, the last thing we need are the Germans showing up.
Fair enough.
We heard you have been streaming the movie.
Now, some of the things I've obviously been revisiting some classics, Parks and Recreation, Gilmore Girls. Everybody loves those. I did jump on the bandwagon for a few episodes thus far, and I started to watch The Witcher. And that show got weird so fast.
Good weird?
No. Like weird. So, and I know why everybody and their mother is watching it, because they were like, hey, what if we did like a muscle-bound Legolas? And so Superman is now Legolas, and he's way more hardcore, and he doesn't just fight with arrows. He kicks everybody's asses. He fights monsters for a living.
He kills
everything.
He kills a lot.
Yeah, that's his main deal. And
takes his shirt off a lot.
But
which I'm fine with. He's a good looking guy.
Is he one of your hall pass people, Jason? If you had to pick from
guys. Maybe.
I love that you're still thinking about it. But yeah, I've checked out The Witcher. But Netflix, I have to say, has really stepped up its game. All the good Indiana Jones movies are on Netflix right now. So I have to give a shout out to Kaylee, because she had never watched Star Wars before.
Really?
She'd never seen episode 4, and she's 18 years old. So I really fussed at her about that. And I get this text about a half hour into the movie, Harrison Ford is in Star Wars, and I was like, I can't be friends with you anymore. We're not related. This is no longer a thing.
Let's send the Germans to her house.
Yeah, exactly.
So you did not know that Harrison Ford was in the movie.
But she was, and now she's going to watch Empire Strikes Back, because I told her the correct order in which to watch Star Wars. Yeah. And she hasn't watched Empire yet, because she's trying to sort of save good movies for her
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're done.
You're done. Yeah. So anyway.
Actually, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're done.
and one other thing, just note, Jade, you may not know this, but Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings also.
It's surprising, isn't it?
Wait, who's Paul McCartney?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know who Paul McCartney is. I said Kaylee didn't know that Harrison Ford was in Star Wars, not me.
It's funny. We picked up a stuffed animal. My son, and he loves his stuffies. And we were at this Japanese store, and there was this little Japanese dog that was, he wanted, and the dog's name was Ringo.
Oh, I thought it was Coochie Kopi.
No.
I'm going to call them. Hello, kitty.
No, the dog's name was Ringo, and whenever we were standing, looking at the display with all the dogs, there was a dad there, and he said, "Oh, it's Ringo," and his wife said, "Yeah," and he's like, like Ringo, and his kids were like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, I am not the only person here
who knows what Ringo
is.
Please
tell me I am not the only person who knows why Ringo. And I was like, dude, I got it. And my wife looks at me like, why is that funny? I'm like, okay, so there's like 10 people standing here and only 2 of us know who Ringo is.
What has the world come to? The coronavirus wiped out all the people who knew who he was.
Evidently it did.
Yeah.
So. Well, have you seen the hashtag that a lot of the millennials are posting?
No.
I think this is horrible.
Let's just put that out there right now.
No,
because I'm afraid.
Hashtag boomer remover.
Oh.
Yeah. How fucking awful.
That's harsh.
Yeah, no really shit. Harsh.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us. I mean, there's a lot of them out there.
You've met some, right?
We worked so hard about this, Adam. My God.
I went to high school with some of those.
Oh no. Anyway,
I did too,
I'd like to point out that was not me.
Yeah,
that was not me at all.
So if you're the sort of person who would hashtag boomer remover, please do the world a favor and go beat yourself to death with a brick.
Seriously.
Yeah.
God, y'all are the worst.
Seriously.
And my parents are boomers. Bite me, you stupid ass
my
children.
parents are boomers too.
God, that's just, no.
Like at the beginning of them, I mean, they're like all the way back to the beginning of the baby boom.
What is the technical beginning?
Would be 47, I guess, would be the beginning. 46, 47, within a year of the end of the war.
Which, I mean, if you ask most of the boomers, they wouldn't feel like they belonged in that category. Just like I don't really feel like I belong in the millennial category.
Oh, no.
I'm right on the cusp.
Those categories, my wife and I have had this discussion so many times because she was born in 1981. And I've told her, I said, you're not a millennial. And she goes, look it up. Look at the dates.
Yeah, look at the
Technically,
timeline.
I'm a millennial. And I'm like, you're so Generation X or Y. You're Generation Y, actually,
Yeah.
But then you realize that there's like no government agency that's like standardizing this, and it's just a bunch of bullshit that people come up with.
Yeah, it's just random. They just sort of hodgepodge it a little bit.
Did you listen to Nirvana in high school? If the answer is yes, you're not a millennial.
Yeah.
Okay. Assuming that Kurt Cobain hadn't been murdered yet by Courtney Love.
Oh, my God. Oh, speaking of which, I made another psychic call, gentlemen. Like, remember how I called The Sixth Sense? I've been saying for years that Joe Anderson, he's a great actor. If you haven't seen him, he's in a series called The River. He's in, unfortunately, one of the Twilight movies, but I don't really regard that one.
Hey, it was a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. I don't diss him for it. I just don't regard it. So he looks so much like Kurt Cobain, and he's a very talented actor. I've been saying for years that he should play Cobain in a movie, and now he is.
Okay.
So I called that one too. I'm basically the human version of The Simpsons. I just predict the future.
Yeah. Well, when you do 35 years of TV, you're going to predict some things. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Kurt Cobain, and I know this was on Netflix. But if it is still on Netflix, another great suggestion for your quarantine is Soaked in Bleach, the documentary about the death of Kurt Cobain. It is absolutely fantastic.
I'd probably have a hard time getting through it though. It's just I just quietly sob in the corner.
Well, it's maybe, but they do it it's not emotional. It's more of a true crime documentary where it's like it's centers around the private detective that Courtney Love hired.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Who now is like, yeah, she killed him. She totally killed him.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. So you don't need to check out that documentary now. Jason just ruined it for everybody.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Bible. I read the end. The devil did it.
But,
Oh my God, I was not even aware that she was a suspect. I thought it was a case of suicide.
Yeah.
It was a troubled...
Officially, yes.
Officially, it was.
But yeah, and it started out as kind of a wild conspiracy thing for a long time. But she had, she's been considered a suspect at this point. It's just that I think the statute of limitations is...
No, it's murder.
Is it still?
There's no statute of limitations.
But there's nothing solid enough to link her to it so far.
There's no
never really found anything.
There's no investigation. It's not ongoing. So, what was I? Okay. So another
reason why you brought this up was
another binge-worthy thing during your quarantine. Kolchak, the Night Stalker.
Oh man.
Which I know used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. It might be. They might have moved it over to Amazon.
They shuffle everything around every few months.
Yeah, but that is another show that I actually watched because it wasn't because of an illness, but I was basically waiting for a problem in a house to get fixed. I was trying to sell.
Right.
And I spent an entire day waiting for, it was one of those situations where we're going to be there between 8 and 9. And at about 7:00 p.m. they showed up. And by that point I had watched the entire series.
Oh, wow.
And it became one of my favorite shows. So Kolchak, the Night Stalker.
But like I said, Netflix is just kicking up its game anyway. Wyatt Earp, gentlemen, is on Netflix. If you want to revisit that one.
The Kevin Costner movie. It's a good movie.
Ooh.
It's good. Tombstone's better.
Well, Tombstone's better.
I love Tombstone.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Tombstone. It's on American.
Do not watch Outbreak.
No, I laughed. So I made fun of you a little bit on Facebook for that, Adam, because he texted Jason and myself, listeners, the other day that he and his wife were watching Outbreak. And so I promptly turned on Jerry Maguire. So that's what I watched. That was the first thing that I started to watch.
Well,
you
could always
pandemic.
watch the Andromeda Strain.
There's that.
Or Night of the Lepus.
So now that
which is actually about giant rabbits, but but DeForest Kelley is in it though, so
that makes it better.
If you want to see Dr. McCoy finding giant rabbits, and I know you do,
who wouldn't?
Full circle with this. So what is Scotty been in? Any obscure films that we can add to that?
Oh my God,
we got Bilbo Baggins, Shatner,
Montgomery Scott, James Doohan. He was in a bunch of movies that were all absolutely terrible. No, he was in fact his last movie. They did his last movie on an episode. The guys at Red Letter Media did it on Best of the Worst, and I mean, it's hard to watch because it's so sad.
And if we're talking Star Trek people, specifically, Dragonheart just came on Netflix too, and that has Sir Patrick Stewart in it.
Yes.
So there's that. And current Star Trek, you have Simon Pegg, who's in the movie that we're discussing tonight. He's the new Scotty. So that's kind of the weird thing, is that he's the new Scotty, and that whole thing's over. It's done. They will not make any more of those movies. He's never going to be Scotty again. Well, then I guess he's just the last Scotty.
Yeah,
so he's the current Scotty.
Yeah,
he's the reigning Scotty.
Let's bring it around. Actually,
yes,
that
comes full circle.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to attempt.
Let's take a quick time out, and we will be back with you in about 1 second. And we're back.
Hi.
No one died of the coronavirus.
Not yet.
During the break.
I did hear Adam cough in the background, so we're keeping an eye on that. But once again, that's why he's not in the studio today.
I was coughing up blood last night.
I'm not dead yet.
No, that was my personal doctor checking to make sure I didn't have a hernia. So let's just
clutch my pearls with these visuals, gentlemen. Anyway, mission accomplished today, Adam. I know that's like a game for you now.
You can always tell how good your insurance is by how hot the doctor is when you get that test. That reminds me of the first time I got a prostate exam.
Nope. So we're actually going to come full circle.
It's a funny story. It's a funny.
No,
literally the most embarrassing thing. Literally, in the midst of my first prostate exam, the door opens and the really hot nurse comes in to ask the doctor a question. And I'm like, well, God damn it.
John Mulaney has a joke about that. You want to go down that road?
How you doing?
How you doing?
So the movie.
So the synopsis of Shaun of the Dead, if you haven't seen it, you should. It's almost 20 years old. Get on board. So the synopsis is Shaun, Simon Pegg, is a 30-something loser with a dull, easy existence. When he's not working at the electronics store, he lives with his slovenly best friend, Ed, Nick Frost, in a small flat in the outskirts of London. The only unpredictable element in his life is his girlfriend Liz, Kate Ashfield, who wishes desperately for Shaun to grow up and be a man. When the town is inexplicably overrun with zombies, Shaun must rise to the occasion and protect both Liz and his mother, Penelope Wilton.
Yeah, it's the first of a trilogy, which was not, I think, at any point ever anticipated.
No, that isn't. I don't think they intended to do it that way. No.
Yeah. The only reason it's a trilogy is because you have the same, more or less the same cast and the same director.
Right. It's a little bit Adam Sandler-esque because it's the same group of people getting together to make something funny. Calm down. That's never meant to be an insult. You need to calm the hell down.
Well, but it is interesting.
What were the other two movies, Jason, in the trilogy? I did not know this.
Well, the second one is Hot Fuzz, which, in my opinion, of the three, is the funniest. I love Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz is great.
It's instead of a zombie movie, it's a cop movie. And then the third one is one that very few people saw.
Yeah, that one. I think that's where the trilogy it petered out for sure.
Yeah, the third one is called At World's End, which is about the end of the world and aliens. And I actually think of the three movies, At World's End is the best movie of the three. It's weird because it's like it sounds ridiculous to say that it's the most mature of the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, trilogy.
Right.
But it is, and it's very good. But so you've got Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End. All three of them share many cast members.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're getting some
feedback.
Do you need to go beat your children?
He was talking to you, Adam.
Okay. But yeah, so this is the first one, and this is where we establish this vibe, this Simon Pegg, Nick Frost
this Arrested Development friendship that they have, where they're just these useless, listless guys. And
it stars just a litany of incredible actors,
including one of your man crushes, Peter Serafinowicz.
Oh, Peter Serafinowicz, yeah.
Yes.
Who is married to Sarah Alexander.
So now she's Sarah Serafinowicz.
Yeah.
Yep.
To me, I don't know why they're not the it couple, because, he's Darth Maul and she's, Sarah Alexander.
Yeah. It doesn't logically make any sense.
Bill Nighy.
Yes.
The great
Davy Jones.
Yes. The great actor.
Who was just tailor-made for this role. Oh my God.
And he's not a Sir yet. Nobody's bothered to knight that man yet.
What the actual hell? Well, that's why later in the movie they're like, kill the queen. Yeah. The jukebox. So,
and Simon's mom, Dame, God.
Is she a dame? I just read off her
name
a second
dame.
ago.
Yeah, she is a dame. She was
Penelope Wilton.
Yes.
Dame Penelope Wilton.
And she was in another movie with Bill Nighy, the great, the Marigold Hotel movie, the Indian movie.
Oh, Grand Budapest Hotel?
No.
Wait, what movie are you talking about? I have no idea. But yeah, so you've got this lackadaisical sort of friendship going on between Ed and Simon Pegg, aka what is his name? Shaun, like in the title.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to the point in the movie, we talked through a good bit of it, but what happens in the beginning, just to catch Adam up, since he's unable to view the movie with us tonight, is we're at the point where the apocalypse is fully blown, all the zombies are running around and wreaking havoc. And
Apoco tips for the apocalypse.
And what happened the night before is Shaun, he does work in this little electronics store where he's maybe the third most senior person on the totem pole. So he's not even in charge of his job. He likes to play video games and drink and go to sleep. That's what he wants to do. That's what's on the menu. Yes. Meanwhile, his girlfriend, there's this great scene in the beginning where the girlfriend always brings her flatmates to the Winchester, the pub that Shaun and Ed haunt.
One of her flatmates is the great Dylan Moran.
Yes, he is from Black Books.
From Black Books.
Yep. Yes. Grown up Harry Potter is what he looks like in this movie to me. You can't tell me he doesn't.
I think he's probably gotten that joke.
Oh, bazillions of times.
I think people have told him that. But yeah, Black Books, that's talk about binge-worthy
during the crisis, yeah.
Everything Graham Linham did. The IT Crowd, Black Books, Father Ted. If you can find those, go watch all of those. And you will laugh yourself beyond
It's very
illness.
Dry, so you just have to anticipate that. It's
half
right
10.
up Jason's alley.
I've never been up at 10:30. What happens?
Oh, God. Anyway, so Shaun unfortunately had a rough night before the zombie apocalypse even kicks in because his girlfriend is kind of demanding a little more attention, a little more grown-up behavior from him, saying
unusually for a movie like this, the girlfriend is being totally reasonable.
Everybody else is being totally reasonable. Yes. Even Dylan Moran, who's the absolute dick. He's making excellent points, but he's Liz's flatmate and he's in love. He's actually in love with Liz, Shaun's girlfriend, but he dates Liz's best friend because you come to find later in the movie, back in college when David tried to hit on Liz, she wasn't interested. So he
settled for Diane.
He settled for Diane. I did not call Diane a failed actress.
Who did not die.
No.
One of the interesting things about this movie, I always thought that she had died, but it
looks like she does. They lead you to believe.
Yeah, they evidently made a whole short about Diane not dying, and she hid in a tree, and she ate what's his name?
David's leg.
To survive.
That's gross. But we'll get to that because that's toward the end of the movie. But so Shaun gets dumped the night before because he did promise to take Liz out on a grown-up date. Just the two of them, no roommates or friends involved.
To the place that does the fish.
That does the good. They do a good fish. Yeah. And he just wants to spend his life at the Winchester pub, chilling out and drinking a pint. And she She wants to get, I think.
Wouldn't you go to the Winchester every day if you could?
Maybe when I was younger, I might have been like, I want to get out and do things. Now I'm just like, I'm tired. I need to go home.
I want to have a couple pints, a few bags of crisps. And that's.
Does anybody want a peanut?
Yeah, and listen to some Queen. It's paradise.
It's a very chill place to be, but Liz wants to accomplish things. She wants to do things, and she puts all of that responsibility on Shaun until she breaks up with him. So he's actually really bummed out about that, and he's flatmates with Peter Serafinowicz, and Ed just kind of tags along everywhere. He crashes on the couch. He follows Shaun all over the place. And now they get so drunk the night that Liz dumps Shaun that they don't even realize that the world is literally ending outside while his world is figuratively crumbling with his relationship ending and forgetting his mom. Well, he gets flowers for his mom, but then he disregards them in a bin and just everything's falling apart in his life.
Can I just say one thing that I marvel at when I look at this movie. And it was directed by Edgar Wright, was his name? Yeah. Who directed the other two also. Everything in this movie is so well planned out.
There's so much payoff for so many tiny little bits in this movie.
The whole movie is payoff.
I've got an entire list of things, and I've got to poke fun a little bit at Adam for Strike Zone because we made jokes about how they got the elite SEAL team together and made a meal out of selecting all the team members, and then they just all died without ever accomplishing anything. There was zero payoff. Whereas in this movie, there's like you've got the open front door. Because Peter Serafinowicz is constantly pissed that Shaun leaves the front door not just unlocked, but open, just hanging open. It pays off when a zombie walks into their flat. Mom's flowers, because Shaun gets them and disregards them in a bin, but then she finds them later and just knows that they're for her. Because he did buy them to...
But don't forget, he gave his mom's flowers to Liz to try to cover for himself, and of course she was on to him.
Yeah. Were these for your mom?
No, because there's a note. It says, to a wonderful mom. These are for your mom, won't they? Yeah.
I love that he tries to cover it up, though. It was a joke. It was, you never...
It's a last-ditch attempt. Before she chucks him.
I do wish that she didn't die. The mom. The mom.
That's Barbara. We're coming to get you, Barbara. And you got to bring that up because Ed is like, he's got this wildly inappropriate crush on Shaun's mom. And he's just always making really gross jokes about her. And because the first time she sees him, Shaun convinces her and Bill Nighy, okay, we got to go somewhere safe. Let's take them out and, we'll go get Liz and her people and we'll go somewhere safe. And she sees Ed and she's like, oh my, how you've grown. And he goes, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. It's so wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, that's actually the least inappropriate thing he says about her.
Yes. Why do you think that's the one I chose to say? I'm not Michelle.
But remember, you never want Ed to apologize to you. Ever.
No. You
There's
really
something silent but deadly. That.
But remember,
Sorry,
but if you stop laughing at it, he'll stop doing it.
Yep.
See, and that's what's so lovable about this movie is that, and this is something that Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are so good at, is in all of their movies, you want to be friends with Shaun and Ed. I would be the best thing in the world to go to the pub and hang out with them.
The only one where it'd be a hard sell for me to be friends with Sergeant Angel.
Well, okay, true.
Because he's a bit of a hard ass in Hot Fuzz, but Morning Angle. But he does loosen up toward the end of the movie, and so you'd be friends with that guy. But yeah, you do cheer for these people, and considering it's a comedy, I'm gonna
go watch that movie tonight.
Oh, it's great.
I'm watching
and Timothy Dalton's in it. It's so good.
He's in the third one too.
Oh, I didn't see the third one.
He's in the third one also. In fact, I actually watching this. Because he's so big in the second two, it's like a noticeable thing that he's not in this one.
Yeah, a little bit.
He
almost could have done the stepdad thing, but Bill Nighy's just too perfect
never
as
was
the
a tale of woe like that of Juliet
and her Romeo.
So brilliant.
Just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
He was James Bond.
Yeah, I know he was.
He was the Welsh James Bond.
But the thing is,
you saw Martin Freeman.
Yes, Martin Freeman.
We haven't run into him yet in the film because right now where we are, Adam, is Shaun is just finally. And this was a little bit of a payoff too, because when the roommates
the
won't
window.
When the
brilliant.
roommates won't let him in to talk to Liz the day before, he falls down the trellis or whatever he climbs to get up to the window, and he's like, "Can you ring me in, please?" And then now that he's motivated and he's coming to rescue Liz, he actually scales the wall into their flat, which arguably is the safest place in the entire movie that they visit. Yet he's like, no, let's go somewhere on the ground where there are windows everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's a zombie movie.
If they did the logical thing. Yeah.
Zombie movies are by definition stupid.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
This is the only zombie movie I like.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I like some zombie. I love The Walking Dead, but I know that's not a movie, but still. But yeah, so Shaun has come to rescue Liz, and Ed's like, screw her. Why do you even want to go get her? So I have to pose this to you, gentlemen. Like, if, back in the day when you're dating and somebody broke up with you, you wouldn't go get the person that broke up with you?
No.
Okay, that's a no from Jason.
Adam, where are you at on that?
One in a million chance and you get back together. I got a chance? I'm going to go back and Liz was kind of cute.
Well, she was kind of cute. I would say the only reason to go back would be to go back, rescue her, show her how much of a hero you are. She takes you back, you have sex with her, and then dump her ass.
That is so mean. My friend. God. This from the man who won't let his children sleep in during a quarantine. My God. He plays the trumpet every morning. Well, the trombone in his case.
Well, yeah. I'm a little endowed.
Have you referred to them as numbnuts yet?
He's gone full Chet at his house.
Not yet.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts?
You ever seen Full Metal Jacket?
Only two types of people from Texas. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
That's like his quantum leap joke now. He brings that one up every so often.
Well, if it just the warning sign is if you find any of your children in the bathroom going 7.62
millimeters
full metal jacket.
That'd be a bit of a red flag, which, speaking of red.
Come on, Cyril.
That's one of the recurring things, and I have to point this out to my hindsiders, is that when I'm watching a movie, because I color code all my notes like a true nerd, and when I'm watching a movie, I take the notes, I take the notes in red when I'm watching the film. Later, when I'm listening to the episode to get it posted, I do it in blue, but the first thing I thought of when I was writing in red pen was, you've got red on you. Because they say that to him multiple times. At first, it's red pen that's spilling into his pocket.
Even that is so clever.
It keeps coming up because then he gets blood all over him, killing his first. You got red on you.
It's brilliant.
It's just so many little tiny recurring jokes, and we're about to hit this really, because this movie has a lot of these surprisingly poignant moments. Where the first serious death we have, and we're in the Jaguar right now, Adam, for your own
if you're gonna kill zombies, you need a Jag.
Yeah, you've run them over. But Bill Nighy was bitten.
Thrilled.
What?
Ed is thrilled to get to drive the Jag.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he crashes Pete's car to get to drive the Jag.
And they keep you were parked.
He's like, sorry, I crashed it. You were parked. What the hell? So yeah, because he clearly wants to drive the Jag. And it's funny how sweet Ed is directly to Barbara.
Yeah.
Because they're zooming around in the Jag and he's blasting the music. And Bill Nighy asked like 40 times for them to turn the music down. And then Barbara's like, oh, will you turn it down, love? He goes, sure, Barbara. And he just jumps right on it because he loves her so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of pervy, but sweet.
Because that's the thing. Ed is, he's a sweet guy.
He's a lovable, doofy dude. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize this, but Nick Frost had his own show. I know it ran for 2 series. I think it stopped after 2, but it was, have you ever seen The Orville?
Mm-mm.
Okay, The Orville is,
No.
It's Seth MacFarlane's, science fiction, Star Trek comedy.
Oh, okay.
I don't really.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I've heard things, but no.
I don't really, I'm not a huge fan. I like old Seth MacFarlane. I like old Family Guy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really care for his later stuff. But Nick Frost did a show years before The Orville called Hyperspace, where he played the captain of a starship, and it's the most awesome show. I don't have a clue where you would find that one. Somewhere on the internet, somebody.
If you could find Strike Zone, somebody can find this show. Yeah.
I mean, you might have to spend some money, but if you want to watch just a top-notch comedy, watch Hyperspace, starring and written by Nick Frost.
We did just miss a great joke, though, because so they're cruising around in the Jag, and then Philip dies. He turns into a zombie. So you do have a sad moment where he's like, Shaun, I was just trying to, you lost your dad and you were 12 when I met you. It's not easy raising a kid. And it's so sad. And
he touched me.
No, that was a lie.
That was a lie. Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done. But and what's funny is that Shaun has this resentment toward his stepdad, and he's a grown ass man. He's in his 30s. This shouldn't still be happening.
Yeah.
And the mom even says, he's been my husband now for 17 years.
17 years, yeah.
You need to get over this. And even Bill Nighy's like, yeah, Shaun.
Well, but think
step
about
up and be a man.
Yeah, but think about it. He's he's like 27 years old. So that means he lost his dad when he was like 9 or 10, maybe younger, 8 or 9, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a 10-year-old. I can see some issues there.
I never overstep my bounds with Morty. I'm very respectful.
Now, this scene right here, we've got Martin Freeman. So we've got Daisy from Spaced.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Freeman, Tamsin Greig, who is another hugely talented actress. She was in Black Books. She was in Green Wing. She's got a show on, I know Netflix with, what's his name? Matt LeBlanc. Episodes.
Yeah, Episodes.
She's an incredibly talented actress. And I feel like I should know who some of those other people are, but I don't. But
were you talking about the girl in the toboggan?
Yeah.
With the purple hat? Okay. Wasn't she? She kind of looks like the girl from Coupling. The sort of.
Oh, no. The one in the purple hat, that's Tamsin Greig.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Who are we talking? But yeah, so we've run into their doppelgangers in the alley, and even the ex-girlfriend, because Shaun thinks he's so brilliant. He's like, yeah, we're going to Winchester. She goes, you're going to the pub. That's where you're going, because they're all trying to survive. And that's another running gag. She runs into Shaun, and even before things go down, she's like, oh, how you doing? He goes, oh, surviving. And then even when it becomes a real deal, surviving. So that's.
Didn't you ever take a shortcut?
Well, this is a running gag through Hot Fuzz as well.
Yeah, I know.
The garden fences. Yeah. So they're going the back way to the Winchester, and grown up Harry Potter is a total bitch, and he's like, oh, the shortcut here through all the garden fences.
Doing? Yeah. But this is stupid. I shouldn't be doing this.
What's the matter, David? Never taken a shortcut before. And he goes to leap over the garden fence, and it immediately collapses underneath him. And in Hot Fuzz, it's it's Nick Frost who does it, but he just barrels right through the fence.
Well, no, because Simon Pegg jumps over them.
Yeah, like a karate master. And then Nick Frost just runs right through it.
It's very impressive to me that Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, during this whole coronavirus thing, they recorded, the scene earlier in the movie where they're on they're talking about the plan.
Yeah.
They recorded a new video.
They did not.
Yeah. Oh. And it's basically the whole thing. Yes. But adapted for the coronavirus.
Just wait for all this to
it's like Nick Frost calls him gay, and then Simon Pegg has to he explains why the joke wasn't actually homophobic, but it was actually just a comment on heterosexual men's inability to express emotions.
Well, and they do have a bit of a gay moment together later.
Oh, that's good.
David's like, oh, I wasn't the one having a tiff with my boyfriend, and Simon Pegg's like, he's not my boyfriend. Oh, your beer might be a bit warm. The cooler's off. Thanks, babe.
They do that. That comes directly from Spaced.
They love each other.
They
much.
did that in Spaced. Nick Frost's character in Spaced is so awesome because he is completely obsessed with the military, and he wants so badly to be like a special forces soldier.
Oh no!
But it's Nick Frost.
Nick Frost. So he wasn't tall enough to be a state trooper.
No.
No, that's not a real story.
Does Nick have a little bald spot on the right side of his head or something?
Nick Frost?
He's definitely got like a patch of gray. But yeah, we did miss another sequence. So they're in the garden, Adam, where the mom, she falls over and Shaun has to go rescue her because she thinks that one of their friends lives nearby or something. And that's such a mom thing to do. Amid the apocalypse. Oh, I think our friends Tony and Sandra live around here. And she's looking for them, and then she gets attacked. But you don't find out until later that she actually gets bitten by the zombie.
Yeah.
And that was rough to watch.
Man, watching this, though, I get so mad because I missed the opportunity. Dylan Moran actually came and did stand-up in Atlanta.
What?
And I found out...
After it happened?
No, I found out the day before.
Oh.
And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Dylan Moran's going to be doing stand-up?
That's how I felt when Ari Shaffir came to town. And I found out the day I was like traveling out of town for my corporate thing. Oh, I was so sad about that. But yeah, so the failed actress, Diane, when they're arguing earlier, because Shaun really like reams on Liz's flatmates, but her acting skills also come full circle. A bit of payoff to a very small bit earlier in the movie. And she's like, all right, it's all about the vocal work. And you got to sort of moan. Like, what did she say? There's a distance to his eyes with a bit of sadness, like a drunk who's just lost a bet. And I'd say, like, of all the people, Shaun
does a great job.
Zombie.
Does a magnificent job. A lot of the people who played zombies in the movie were actually...
From Spaced.
Well, they actually posted a thing on the...
they called for extras.
On the fan site.
Yeah.
And like, hey, you want to be... And they paid them £1 per day.
Oh... Yeah, that's some real love right there. Showing up for a pound a day.
I think they actually did that as a joke because I think the zombies in Night of the Living Dead, the actors were paid $1 a day.
Oh wow!
So I think they did it as a callback, as like a bit,
Well, and what's really funny is that Chris Martin from Coldplay is one of the zombies.
Really?
Yeah, he shows up later. So when they've gone through the whole litany, they're in the Winchester, they're shooting the zombies, they wind up in the cellar, they go back up to the street, and by then it's just Shaun and Liz. he's in the side frame, just sort of walking up toward them. So you wouldn't really notice him unless you know to look for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lead singer of Coldplay is in this movie too. So it's like you said, it's pretty star-studded.
That's appropriate.
It is.
But this film is just filled with such great little teeny bits that you look for. Like even when he looks over the fence, he walks up this little kitty ladder.
Yeah.
The way he does it. It is classic. It's beautiful.
Yeah. They say, are there, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a type of comedy you don't get a lot anymore, where it's they do things that are silly, but within the movie they're always doing them seriously.
Yeah.
And it just comes across like when he climbs the kitty ladder, he does it seriously.
Yep.
And
he like wells up too because he sees how many zombies are impeding their way to the bar. Well, and he's like, "Oh, there are lots."
They got at least according to the internet. When they filmed the scene where Barbara dies.
I probably have notes on this.
Yeah, basically Simon Pegg and Nick Frost just decided on their own that what they would do is just imagine their own moms dying. Mm-hmm. And when they finished the scene, the two of them apparently went off and just cried their eyes out.
Yeah, they said that was one of them one of the scenes that genuinely made Simon Pegg cry. And even talking about just death in general in this movie, when he was being interviewed, Simon Pegg, in the interviews asked why the zombies move so slowly. And his amazing response was, because death is not an energy drink.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
So it just, everything in this movie, like I said, it'll hit you right in the feels, as it were, with these sad deaths.
In the cockles of your heart, maybe even lower in the subcockles.
Sometimes I hate you.
Nobody, do either of you know where that's from?
No.
It's from the Asshole song.
You didn't give him a chance to respond.
Oh, sorry.
You stole that bit. You stole what you're saying.
Sorry. Yeah, yes. Well, I steal everything I do.
Yeah. He usually cops to it afterward, or at least announces it first.
I do homage.
Yes, he does. It's usually to power.
I haven't done any Community jokes, and they did a whole Zombies episode. So
I've only said one thing about John Mulaney, and didn't even follow up with it. So
Zombie attack.
we're being very polite with each other today.
And then it starts playing ABBA. I'm like, okay, now it's officially a living nightmare.
Oh God. Well, one of the better songs, the
music's great.
The music is great throughout, but in the beginning, before things have really gone to hell, Shaun is on the bus and Zombie Nation is playing. And, they used to play that at soccer games and stuff to get the crowd pumped up. And I remember that because they used to play it at our own soccer games in high school.
Well, and they play Queen, and you have to remember, this was at the point in time when people weren't running around pretending to be lifelong Queen fans. Because nowadays, everybody has loved Queen forever. And it's like, no, you haven't. You saw the movie, you know you like them.
Don't get me wrong. Name another song besides We Will Rock You.
10 years or 5 years ago, most people could not have named.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly, yeah.
But then, now the movies come out and everybody's just the biggest Queen fan ever.
But at least now we live in a world where do belongs to Queen and not Vanilla Ice.
He even...
And he's still to this day.
It's different.
He swears he didn't just rip it off.
No, because have you ever seen that interview directly where he's talking about why his song is because comparing to Under Pressure.
I'd love to hear this.
And I can put this one in the show notes because it's actually worth it. He says, no, my version's different because theirs is do 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 do. Ours is do 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 do, and that's literally his argument for why it's different. It's so
imagining
stupid.
The justices of the Supreme Court going, well, Mr. Ice, you've convinced
Mr.
us.
Ice, I care now. You made me care more.
God damn it. Oh God, that hit it. That
hit him in the subcockles.
You made me care.
Get it together. All right, get it together. And if you had finished the assignments I'd given you, Mr. Brown, you would be laughing right along with us. So you've got nobody to blame but yourself.
Yep, Jeff, still cool as a zombie.
Totally cool.
I'm just wondering, has Dylan Moran been captured by the zombies?
Not yet. So we've just now
I
made
hate that scene. God, I hate that scene.
It's god awful. We've just now made it into the Winchester, And no, like they just got Shaun back because it was a nice self-sacrificing moment because they're freaking out because the doors to the Winchester are locked, and he goes, all right, well, somebody's got to distract them, and he runs off and makes the zombies follow him. And Dylan Moran is just like, yeah, we should block up that window. Screw Shaun. He's been gone for 20 minutes. He's not coming back, and he's just he might not. Yeah, he's making decent points about the guy. And everybody's trying to defend Shaun because they're like, look, he's going to come back, and he goes, why? Because he promised. He's so good at following through on things.
Look, the name of the movie is Shaun of the Dead.
I know. It's
it's this because their whole plan though of going to the Winchester,
it's idiotic.
Like, I mean, although there is a lot of beer there, and so
because even Liz, and it's sort of, I had never noticed this line before, but when they are waiting for Shaun to come back, Liz is getting so hyped up and arguing with David. She finally goes, Ed, pour me a double vodka. Yeah. And I never heard her say that. And then David starts freaking out. Yeah, I guess we'll just all have a party. And that makes sense too. Yeah, don't get hammered during the zombie apocalypse.
Well, think about it. If you're in, because if you live in America, the zombie apocalypse is, holy crap, I'm going to go get my big ass truck, load it up with guns, and go shoot the shit out of some zombies.
Kind of, yeah.
If you live in Britain, you're dead.
Yeah, because everything is such close quarters.
You're just going to die.
Especially in a city like London. Then it's just, they don't have cars for transpo for the most part.
Well, I mean, I think it's fast. Go ahead.
You just climb in your Mini. And try to drive over, a zombie, and it just clogs up. And
I was about to say, yeah. I had a buddy who he had a Mini. He doesn't have it anymore.
Did he crash it into a zombie?
No, it hydrolocked.
Oh no!
and the people at the BMW place were like, "Yeah, we can't fix it." And he went, "You know what? Keep it."
Minis are absolute crap to work on. Like when I was searching for a new car, Josh was like, "No, you can't. No, not a Mini Cooper. No, absolutely not. I'm not working on that." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I'll look for something else."
But one of the things that I think is interesting is when they do find that the Winchester rifle is real.
Oh, but Big Al says it's an active rifle.
I fucking knew it.
Well, Big Al also says that dogs can't look up. So.
Well, they can.
Oh, can't they? Oh, yes, of course they can. And Big Al is something that pays off too. He's another one of those bits because they're talking about him in the beginning and all this nonsense. Yeah, Big Al says that the rifle works, and Big Al's apparently an idiot, a drunken idiot. But then, the payoff is that the rifle does work.
Maybe he was in the mob.
Maybe he was.
Maybe he was.
You never
but
know.
It's so interesting, though, because they're like, well, has anybody here ever shot a gun? And none of them even know which end to point at the bad guy. And that is such a British thing. When I lived in Florida, they opened up in Orlando, they opened up a Bass Pro
British
Shops.
People there.
Which Bass Pro Shops is, for those of you who don't know, it's a huge sporting goods store.
Yes.
And when they opened it, there was a gun that I had been wanting to buy, and they had it in stock. So I was like, sweet. So I ordered it. I went down there to pick it up. Mm-hmm. And Orlando is it's obviously a tourist magnet, but
there's some like mouse theme park down there that I've heard of.
They've got a mouse park, a fish park, and a tornado park.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I went down. Well, but it's a very popular place for British tourists to go to. Mm-hmm. And when I went to the Bass Pro Shops to pick up this rifle, there were British people all over the gun section, and all they wanted to do, they were like picking up the like holding the rifles and like going pew pew with them.
Oh my God.
And the staff had to keep going over to them like, please, those aren't toys, you moron.
Well, and from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, you seem to have more of an understanding of English culture than I do, but the whole viewpoint of America from England is that we're all like cowboys and running around on horses anyway.
They think we all constantly are shooting. They basically think that we're like Homer Simpson in that episode of The Simpsons where he joined the NRA and he was like walking through his house, turning the lights off by shooting them. That's what they think we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there was a Doctor Who episode where, the doctor is surrounded by people with guns, and they're like Secret Service agents. And, they're not going to shoot. And then the person he's with is like, no, they're Americans.
Yeah.
And he like puts his hands up and freaks out. Yeah. British
shoot
people,
things for like no reason.
Yeah. We don't
it
actually
goes off for like no reason.
Yeah. Just the tip.
Oh, God. Gotta stop making that joke. But to give Adam some context, so now we're at the point of the story where John and Bernie are the two actual names of the people who apparently ran
their
Peg's
actual
favorite
pub.
bar in Highgate.
Yeah,
because the Winchester was real until they turned it into flats.
Yeah.
So now John has come out and he's all zombified, and they of course kick up Queen on the jukebox. And,
Kill the Queen.
Yeah, kill the Queen. What? The jukebox? Because Ed is the idiot who doesn't realize that putting the video game on full blast might attract some zombie-like attention.
Well, and he sends him downstairs to turn off the circuit breakers, which they incorrectly call fuses. They're not. They're circuit breakers.
Yeah, you silly English people.
Jesus.
Don't know guns aren't toys. Don't know what
Christ's
circuit
sake.
breakers are. God.
Instead of just, unplugging it, which is what I would do.
Yeah.
But,
I would think so. But you have to have this bit where David's downstairs clicking all the circuit breaker buttons in coordination with the Queen song, where they don't even know how to use blunt force objects that well in this movie. They pick the pull cues and they don't even snap them in half and stick the guy in the brain. Nothing like that, which would make sense.
Which is so weird, because if they made this movie today, one of the differences that they would have to address is the fact that in Britain, you are far more likely to die by samurai sword than you are by gun.
Is that like a huge collector's item there?
No, that's what all the criminals in London, people are like robbing jewelry stores. They're showing up on motorcycles and they have swords. No, look it up. It's a real thing. It's like there is a like plague of sword attacks in London.
Well, that's why we had to save their ass in WW2.
They'd be talking German now if it weren't for us.
Well, the Queen, she is German.
You bite your tongue.
She is? She is German?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he has a dot in his head.
Yeah. So that's where we are now,
so
Adam.
Painful.
Yeah, it takes like 5 of them to kill one zombie. They're so inept. Yeah. And so
that is the funnest accent in the world to do, though.
The German one? Yeah.
Oh, it's this crazy Germans.
Just if you rewind a bit, wasn't the scene with when trying to kill them with the LPs, the records?
Yeah.
That's toward the beginning of the movie. Yeah, you're correct, because Shaun is meanwhile like arguing. That was Liz's. She broke up with you. Okay, throw it. Like they get his box of records as opposed to any blunt force object like a golf club. They finally get the cricket bats, but and I had never noticed this. I noticed it in my research. It was pointed out to me that one of the shop cashiers that you see before everything's gone to hell, when it's just cheery music and it's just his regular life, one of the cashiers is the zombie lady who shows up, Mary in their backyard. Yeah. I had never noticed that for whatever reason. But yeah, Adam, you're totally right. They do throw vinyl records at the zombies, and they have terrible aim, just like they do with the gun.
Yeah. And he's like, don't call them bullets, call them shells.
Yeah, call them shells. It's cooler. It's going to exacerbate things for all of us.
What's that mean?
And then just even the video games they also come full circle, because when Ed and Shaun play video games together, when they're shooting things, Ed will be like, oh, top left. And they teach each other how to aim. So that's how they go about shooting the zombies when there's 6 people in one rifle.
Which is another sort of, not a callback to, but it kind of originates with Spaced, because in Spaced, there were many Lara Croft references.
Oh, Wait, guys referring to Lara Croft? That's never happened in the history of the ever.
She's a strong female character. What's your problem?
Yes, they just admire
with huge breasts.
And very short shorts.
Yes.
Imagine.
Hey, she's an archaeologist. She works in a hot environment.
Yes.
She didn't want to dehydrate.
She got to wick the perspiration away. But just now that we have the Winchester rifle, now that we found out that Big Al was right, the dogs can look up, though. That was actually a prop from Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So they had a couple of callbacks, not just to space, but to a couple of different things.
Yeah, it's amazing. Go ahead, Adam.
It just broke my heart when they only had one box of ammo and went through the whole thing and just only got one zombie.
Yeah, I know.
There's literally hundreds of them coming through. He could have done better.
Yeah. He could have stepped a little closer.
If he was an American.
Yeah. If he had a samurai sword, he would have been a lot more successful.
I'm telling you, if they made the movie today, that would have to be a part of it. They would be chopping off heads with samurai swords.
And part of it too is that they just keep getting kicked while they're down because they don't go through the whole box at first, but they leave the box up on top of the bar. And then when the zombies finally do break in, and Shaun does have kind of a stroke of genius, he sets the bar on fire, but with all of the ammo on top of the bar.
Yeah.
And so it starts exploding and firing.
Which it doesn't actually do.
I'm just saying in the movie.
I know.
It shoots by
itself.
itself.
In movies, ammo cooks off for like no reason.
It's like the poison pin.
Yeah.
The cap slips off for no reason.
And this is kind of an interesting scene because I think that a lot of people, in this scene, oh, my mother's been bitten by a zombie and she's going to die and become a zombie. And a lot of people would just bang and just shoot their moms.
Before she had the chance to become a zombie. And the flowers, they come full circle here because Shaun, like I said, he threw them away in a bin, but Barbara found them on the way into the Winchester. Liz is even like, oh, Barbara, leave those. And she goes, no, I think they're for me. So and then she thanks Shaun as she's dying for buying her the flowers. It's, oh, God.
Well, I'm telling both of you, go ahead.
I was going to say, she knows her son well. She's known him for 29 years. She's 29 in the film.
They're well acquainted.
She's known him most of his life.
Known her for a while.
Well, I will tell both of you this. If there is ever a zombie apocalypse and I am bitten, just shoot me.
Oh, we agreed on this with Evil Dead. And But gentlemen, if I become a vampire, Meg will handle it. We have a clause. I won't become a Twilight vampire, so don't worry about that. Yeah. But she'll take care of it if I become
being a vampire is one thing. Being an insufferable twat, that's
like David.
Yeah, that's something totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're in the standoff, Adam, where we do find out that Barbara, the mom, has been bitten. And David, who a moment ago wouldn't fire the gun because he says he's a pacifist, is now aiming it at Barbara, and Shaun's melting down on him. So he and Ed bust bottles on the bar to hold David's neck, and he's like, stop pointing that gun at my mom. And it gets so intense.
It really does.
And so just
I'll be honest, in this scene when David grown up
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
David,
when he gets ripped apart by the zombies, I actually minimized it.
Really?
Because I've seen it 100 times. I don't like watching.
Well, you're not a fan of gore anyway.
I don't like gore. I'm not a gore fan.
It's not your thing. But
didn't vote for him. Don't like it in my movies.
But they have such funny little moments even when it gets super poignant like this because Ed and Shaun have busted bottles and Daphne's like, well, this isn't really fair. And Ed goes, oh, yeah, you're right. And he hands her his bottle and then he grabs a wine screw and then he holds it up to David's
Only
neck.
the British could have a joke like that.
Seriously.
Only the British.
And
which is why we love him.
There's even a little transformation because Shaun is, this lackadaisical soft guy in metropolitan London and he wears a tie to work. Now he looks like Rambo and he's using the tie to plug up the dart hole in his head that Daphne put in him because for some reason she thought throwing darts at a zombie was going to kill it. But,
well, they're zombies. There's no logic to this stuff. People pretend that there's zombie logic.
There can't be.
There isn't.
There's different rules to every single one. Yeah, it's all magic.
It's all magic. There's no science to this. You can call it a virus. It's still magic.
Well, in this movie, you never actually find out what the cause for the outbreak is.
Which is very much like Night of the Living Dead, where they never... That's irrelevant. It's not the point. It was a metaphor.
Well, and what's really funny is that, with World War Z, the book is infinitely better than the trash-tastic Brad Pitt movie. It is. Max Brooks called the coronavirus in that book because it started in China, the zombie outbreak.
Racist?
And no, you calling Max Brooks racist?
No, I'm kidding. It's totally, look, it's not racist to call it that.
That's how it originated.
You ever heard of MERS, the Middle Eastern respiratory?
I actually have.
Well,
it's related to SARS.
Yes. Well, somebody I was talking to said, okay, we will stop calling it the Chinese virus. But if we're using that logic, we also have to stop calling it Chinese food.
Ooh.
If we're being logical,
because in China they just call it food.
Well, the food didn't.
What about the Spanish flu?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and well, there's actually evidence that the Spanish flu started in China. No, I mean, but don't eat bats.
Yeah, I've heard it was pangolins. So,
or pangolins.
Yeah, don't eat them either.
One.
They don't make good eating anyhow.
Come on.
But no, Max Brooks did kind of call this Mel Brooks' kid a genius. He wrote World War Z, and the zombie outbreak happened in China, and Chinese came over seeking out Western medicine, and they spread the virus.
I get into a big argument with somebody once. Alcohol was involved. I will say that.
No,
otherwise,
never.
Otherwise, why the fuck were we arguing about this? Because there's a part in that book, I never read it, but there was a guy I was talking to, and he loved the book, and he was talking about this part where there was a submarine. Mm-hmm. There was a U.S. Navy submarine that it was near the ocean floor, and the zombies were on the ocean floor. And the zombies had like walked across the floor of the ocean to get to them. And I said, well, that's just retarded. And he's like, well, why? And I said,
that's what happened in World War Z.
Yeah, I know. And I said, because there's a thing called pressure. He's like, no, that's not true, because the human body is full of water. So the pressure is, and I'm like, okay. All right. Yeah. So you're telling me that if I take a human body and I just put it on the bottom of the ocean, it's just going to function fine. And we got into this huge argument.
Like you do.
Ultimately, I was correct, of course.
No.
And since we have a submariner on the phone with us, I would like to ask.
Our naval officer.
What is your opinion of the chances of a body functioning on the bottom of the goddamn ocean?
Whether it's a zombie or not?
Right.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's, we were not designed to operate under such immense pressure, and face it, you're not getting inside that submarine regardless of whether they're on the surface or submerged, because we'd be repelling borders and we close all those hatches, and you just can't chew your way through, through 3/4 inches.
No, you're not going to bite your way through it.
Be difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Kraken can't do it.
Exactly. Because I know as a submariner, you probably fought off God knows how many giant squids trying to get them with tentacles getting in through the torpedo
Megalodons.
Megalodons.
Trying to bite their way through.
The mermaids were probably pretty cool.
Well, the mermaids were hot, so they let the mermaids in.
Well, that's true.
Yes.
But the problem is, though, with the mermaids, though, that the fish parts and the lady parts, well, you know what? Never mind.
We always felt sad when we had to scrape out the seawater intakes and found parts of a beautiful mermaid. It was tough. It was hard on us.
Yeah, that's why you got that one guy on the boat, All right, ladies, time to go.
He's the bouncer. He's the mermaid bouncer.
You don't have to go home, but you can't sleep here.
Yikes,
I would love, and I am sure that there are reasons why you cannot share it with us, but I would love to hear some of the weird stories, because I know, being somebody who worked on submarines, you've got to have at least one or two weird stories, like things that made you go, huh? I'm assuming.
There's stories. Yeah, find me with alcohol sometime and make sure that all your cell phones are locked up, and I'll tell you a few stories.
All right.
There's more than just a few.
You got it.
Quarantine party at my house.
Quarantine party.
All right, we'll all join up at Darth Jader's, and we'll get Adam drunk, and he'll tell us some submarine stories.
I wish we had a place like the Winchester we could all go to and just hole up.
And wait for all this to blow up.
Yeah.
That would be great. But an interesting fact, because now we're at the part where they've set the bar on fire, Adam, and you start to really, really feel for this team, and now Ed has been bitten.
Yeah.
And that's just Simon Pegg screaming, no! And oh, God, that was just heart-wrenching. I could barely get it through Ed being...
I do have to add that the flames on the bar were a better shot than
Simon Pegg?
Yes.
It hits more zombies when they're exploding on the bar than when you're shooting it through a rifled barrel.
Yeah.
See, hindsighters,
pure chance is better.
Yeah, this is why Adam's teaching his children about firearms, so that they're a better shot than open flame. That's the whole logic behind that, I would imagine.
Hey, kids, look, the funny thing about teaching people how to shoot, the first time I took my wife to shoot at the shooting range, she's like, oh, I don't want to shoot, I'm kind of nervous. About 2 magazines in, she was shooting better than I've shot, and I've been shooting literally since I was 5 years old, and it's just not fair. It's not fair. I get a buddy of mine, his girlfriend, who is now his wife.
Doesn't she compete now?
She shoots competitive.
Yeah.
And she was like terrified of guns when they were dating. And he finally was like, you're going to go to the range with me, and you're going to shoot a gun, get over your fear. She is so much better at shooting. Women are better shots than men, in my experience.
You heard it here first.
No, I'm telling you.
No, we talked about this on Lethal Weapon.
No, that is actually actually, that's a fact. I don't know what it is. It's a gender thing. I don't know if it's their eye acuity, but they are very, very good shots.
Yeah, yeah. And, and once they sort of get past the fear, because that was the thing with my wife, you start her on a 22, and she's like, well, here, I'm going to shoot that other gun. Oh, the 357 Magnum? Yeah, here, go for it.
Try it out. Why not?
Let me put one round in. That's what I did with my son.
Okay.
Because he wanted to shoot my 357 Magnum.
Okay.
And so I put one round in, and I said, there you go, point down range. And he's like, okay, no big deal. I got this.
Oh, no. And now he's deaf.
No, he wears ear protection.
I know.
He wears ear protection.
It's a joke, son. It's a joke. But so we've pretty much reached the end of the movie, hindsighters, talking about how, Simon Pegg at least has good aim there. Yeah, with the suicide discussion. So Ed's sitting in the corner saying, I don't mind being eaten because they only have 2 shells left. And Liz and Shaun have to decide, who's going to shoot whom first. And it's, oh God, it just gets so real at certain moments and it just jabs you right in the heart.
Well, but they do it in a way where the conversation is still funny, because they're being like, she's like, oh, I don't know if I could do it. And he's
I'd
like,
muck it up if it was me.
Well, of course you could. It's easy.
He's like, well, let me think. I'm going to shoot you in the head. Yeah. All right. Got it. And then me just and shows his brains like flying across the room. And then they start being sweet to each other. And Liz is
They smoke a lot in this movie.
They do.
There's a lot of cigarette use in this movie.
He's got a good Rambo look right here because he's got the bandana or the tie on his head and he's starting to smoke and he's got a gun in his hands. He looks pretty tough.
He's everyman hero.
Yep. That's Shaun.
Yeah.
But he gets on to Liz because she stole his cigarettes, even though that was one of her complaints about him in the beginning of the movie. She said, you said you'd stop smoking when I stopped, and just all these girlfriend complaints. And now he discovers when the zombies broke out, she stole his cigarettes out of the trash. And he's like, oh, you sneaky monkey. And they're just sharing a cigarette as they're both anticipating their imminent death. Sorry, Shaun. No, you have nothing to be sorry about. No. I'm sorry, Shaun.
I'll stop doing it when you stop laughing.
That is my favorite part. I just love Ed.
Oh, Ed's great.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Because we've all known Ed.
I didn't like him because he doesn't work,
Right.
And so she was judging him the same way that Liz was. But me, on the other hand, and my son, we watched the movie. We both loved Ed.
Ed's the best. Yeah. Ed's the kind of guy that you just have in your life as like a tertiary friend. You can't rely on him for anything except for fun. That's all he's there for.
Yeah.
You don't want him as a roommate because he's not reliable with the rent. He can't, pay his utilities. He doesn't have a car. He's useless. But you love him because he's fun.
You ain't seen Bad Boys 2.
Is it true that there's a part in a man's head that if you shoot it, it will blow up? Adam, have you seen Hot Fuzz?
I saw it about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, but I've already written Hot Fuzz and I will be watching them in my quarantine.
I actually think I'm going to watch Hot Fuzz tonight.
Me too. Yeah. Okay, I'm making...
it's such a good movie.
This will be our virtual quarantine party. I'm making quarantinis. And I'm going to watch Hot Fuzz tonight, especially since it's Friday.
Quarantinis.
Just for you, hindsighters. Awesome. Quarantinis, anybody? But yeah, so that's what's going down at the Rogers residence.
You're not my supervisor.
You're not my supervisor. But yeah, there's Chris Martin there in the on the far side.
That's fine. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, he's in the movie. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so Ed has now been abandoned in the cellar, and it's just Shaun and Liz left. And this Monty Python ending where just SWAT shows up and stomps over all the zombies, and then it's over.
Like, couldn't they have shown up a while ago?
Yeah, you would think so. But
because again, they're not hard to kill.
No, they're not hard to kill if you're not a complete idiot with a gun.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny that they do make a point out of the video games and how Shaun is supposedly really good at shooting because of the video games, but he's a shit shot. He can't shoot anything.
And then Daisy's there.
Yay.
With a golf club.
Oh my God, Shaun! She says that like 40 times in the movie.
I love her. I'm telling you, if you watch Spaced, there's a part.
There's so many little references for you.
There's a part in the second series of Spaced where Daisy, her character, gets hit by a car. And I was watching with a friend of mine, and when it happened, my friend literally like stood up and went, Daisy. It's like you just fall in love with her.
Well, I think there's nothing there. You can't not love this movie. Even George Romero loves this movie because when it first came out, they said like knowing
Quentin Tarantino loves this movie.
Well, everybody loves this movie, but accordingly, knowing that they were borrowing so heavily from his zombie making film style and Dawn of the Dead, Wright and Pegg actually specifically reached out to Romero to see if he would just give the movie their blessing and watch it. And apparently he filmed it in his own little, screening. He was the only person there besides one security guard and he loved it. They said he couldn't have been sweeter about it. He was apparently a big fan of the movie. So the newscasters.
They're all real.
They're all real newscasters. I had no idea. And destroying the head or removing the head, destroying the brain. I never thought I'd say that as a reporter.
I just love when they show that, all the
service industry workers.
The service industry workers. They just chain them up.
Well, because they've retained all of their...
and they have a game show.
It's almost like one of those... what was that Nickelodeon show with Aggro Crag where they wear helmets? Oh, man. I should know this. Damn. Anyway, but yeah.
Family fracas.
Yeah, family fracas. No, but now everything is...
Double Dare.
Double Dare was one of them, but that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge?
No.
Because that's what that was. That was a direct ripoff of...
Oh, sure.
Of MXC.
Yeah.
Which, that's something that only my generation knows. Did you watch MXC?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, nobody knows. There was a real Japanese game show that some genius bought the rights to, and they just dubbed it over in English, and they did it as a comedic. They just faked it all.
Nickelodeon Guts is what I was thinking about.
I don't know that.
Yes, you do. It's the one where the kids climb the Aggro Crag mountain at the end of it, and they had even those sort of those sticks that they hit each other with, like on American Gladiators, that look like
the big Q-tips.
Yeah, the Q-tips. Yeah, so it was a kid's version of that.
They're called Pugil sticks. Pugil sticks.
I love that he knows that.
The Marines use them. Yes,
I bet they did.
I got beat up with one once. It was not fun.
I imagine it'd be like, oh, they're all soft. No, they're not. They're not soft at all.
Jesus, is this made of limestone?
Wouldn't a stick feel better?
Ew.
And then the end,
Phrasing.
Boom. And then the end of the movie
is actually, it's funny and it's sweet at the same time because
Simon's, he's not going to give up on, or Shaun isn't going to give up on his buddy.
But forget Philip and forget Mother. Because, I guess they did shoot the mother in the head.
Mom was dead.
Yeah, she was dead. So I guess that's why. But
he killed her.
They never killed Philip, though. Philip, they just locked him in the car.
That's true.
And because they have that funny moment where Bill and Simon Pegg is like, he's not my dad. She goes, he is your dad. He goes, no, he was, but he's not anymore.
There's nothing of your husband left in that car.
And then he turns off the music as a zombie, which is great.
That's true. Yeah,
so you don't. Philip's just wandering around metropolitan London. You don't know what he's doing.
Huh.
But that is another callback. So in the beginning of the movie, when the zombies first bust out, they're looking for weapons to attack them with, and they're like, "Oh, open the shed. The shed's locked. Why? I don't know. It just is." And you don't really come back to the shed at all until the very end.
But there's payoff.
Yeah, there's
Even
payoff
on that, there's
for
payoff.
everything.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, I mean the movie Simon Pegg is legitimately brilliant.
Oh, he's a fantastic actor. I love Simon Pegg.
Wait, the music supervisor was Nick Angel. Wasn't Nick Angel the name of...
Yeah, Sergeant Angel. Yeah, Nicholas Angel. Oh, I guess we all sound apples around here, don't we?
So wait, the music supervisor was named Nicholas Angel.
Hey, throwback to another Hot Fuzz. So there you go.
Well, there you go. The movies are connected.
Yeah, they are. They're all in the same zombie verse or something. That's why they don't get attacked out in the country in Hot Fuzz, because there aren't any zombies out there.
That's true. This shit just got real.
Not exactly. God, such a great movie. I'm a slasher of prices. But yeah, so
arrest me.
All right, so we've covered pretty much everything. I think we've covered.
There's not a lot. I mean, what's the trivia? Go to.
We went through a lot of it. You covered a lot of the space trivia. You covered a lot of my research, actually, so that worked out. But yeah, so I guess we have to go off to Seinfeld at this point, because I would have seen this if it came out in 2004. That meant I was in high school when I saw it.
Yeah.
So how do I start and kick us off, or?
Yeah, because I mean, I got to think about it.
Okay. Yeah, because you're the one who always wants to jump to a score, and then you sort of backtrack. But yeah, so I have to grade this one higher. So I'm going to give this one a 7. Because it's the same thing that I've said about a lot of movies. It happens a lot on this show. Is that when I was in high school, I'm a relatively witty person, but I didn't pick up on every single little bitty joke.
It's pretty advanced.
Yeah, and even now I could watch it 3 times, and I think I have in as many days, and I still pick up on these little things. Like how I told you, I never realized that Mary was the girl that you see in the very beginning, where she's just
right. Yeah,
and everybody's kind of zombie-esque, and it's setting that up to the zombie apocalypse. But they're just little bitty things that I pick up on every single time. So I'm going to have to give this one a 7 because it gets better every time I watch it.
I'm going to give it a 6 because I have basically the same feeling that you have, but I think I liked it more originally than you probably did. So
that makes sense.
The improvement's not as much, but it does definitely, it does get better with age.
Yeah, like the humor for me improved because when I was, back in 2004, I would have been really saddened by all the small poignant moments with Bill Nighy dying and Barbara dying and Ed dying. Now I'm just like, it moves the story forward.
Well, and I think because now that you've probably seen Bill Nighy in so many things, it's not like his character dying. It's Bill Nighy.
Christmas is all around.
You don't I don't think of any of these people as their characters.
No, that's true.
It's Simon Pegg. It's Nick Frost. It's, Yeah,
I see him in Star Trek going, does anyone have a towel? It's just, I'm with you on that. The characters, but they still do a good job despite that. Now, Dylan Moran, I haven't seen as much of his stuff. Like I've seen Black Books, but I haven't seen as much of his work. And I've never seen his stand-up. So with Simon Pegg, he's been in so many things at this point.
Somebody else who wasn't in this movie that is surprising is Bill Bailey.
Yeah.
Bill Bailey was not in this movie. And that
I wouldn't have thought about that, but yeah.
Yeah, just thinking back, because he was in, obviously he was in Black Books. He was one of the stars of Black Books, but he was in Hot Fuzz.
Nobody tells me nothing.
I think he had to have been in World's End. And he was in Spaced. He played Bilbo. That was his name. His name was Bilbo.
And Leonard Nimoy sang a song about him, apparently.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was Simon Pegg's boss at the comic book store.
Wonderful.
I'm an assistant manager. How many people work for you? Well, it's just me and Bill. He's the manager.
The title's still important. All right, Mr. Brown, what's your Alf to Seinfeld on Shaun of the Dead? Did we lose him to the bunker? There are crickets in the bunker.
Sorry about that.
The coronavirus has made it through the door. Ladies and gentlemen.
He's beating it to death with a pool cue.
You have to beat off all of those Chinese viruses,
Stop phrasing it like that.
Beat them off, man.
That was an audio gag, guys.
I forgot to wear a hat. Damn it.
Taking a tinkle. Anyway,
he's a grown-ass man.
Yes. You'll have to rewind it and listen to it. No, I'm going to give it an 8 because I have to say, when I first saw it, I was much more naive in the ways of quality writing and tying everything together. In fact, I didn't even catch the doppelgangers the first time I watched this movie.
Okay.
But when I watched it again, I caught all the minutia and I just laughed and laughed and I love every bit of it. It is a classic film, and I recommend anyone who's listening to watch Shaun of the Dead and watch it a second time because you'll even catch more.
Yeah.
If you are a filmophile, you will love Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it an 8, and I'm sticking with that.
Awesome.
I definitely agree with you on that one.
Especially with Martin Freeman showing up. If you're a BBC Sherlock fan, Martin Freeman showing up out of the clear blue is just a total treat.
Martin Freeman was, before Sherlock, he was in so many great little things. He had a show on BBC called The Robinsons.
He was also in Love Actually with Bill Nighy.
Yeah.
He was the porn double.
Martin Freeman, I had a conversation with a friend of mine years ago. We were just trying to decide. We had the conversation, and we should have this on the show sometime, which is if you could have any actor in the world play you, who would be your dream actor to play you, and then who would be the actor that probably should play you. And mine was
I see where this is going.
Mine was Sean Connery and Martin Freeman.
Oh man,
because I would love Sean Connery to play me, but probably Martin Freeman is more is more reasonable.
Oh my god,
I think he could play me. I think he could capture
your essence,
my essence,
your crotchety ass essence.
Although now I'm starting to think Dylan Moran might be better.
I could see that too.
Jade, what's happening?
And we'll bring Martin Freeman into the studio for an episode at one point and replace him with Jason and see if anyone notices.
Oh my god!
That prank on The Office where Jim gets his Asian actor friend to be him and makes Dwight think that he's been Asian this whole time when he hasn't. That's what we're gonna do. That's our new. But I just gave the game away.
So we need to think about that though, because next episode I want to know from both of you. Who would you, if you could have anyone play you, your dream actor?
Wait, we're bringing this guy back again? How many appearances have you made on the show, Mr. Brown? My God.
And who would be the most...
I think 400.
Yeah.
Thereabouts, yes.
And who would be the most appropriate person to play you?
Oh.
Because I would love I would love Sean Connery to be sitting here right now with a ball of scotch.
The penis mitre.
Shush, stupid, I'm leaving.
Oh, God. Yeah, he wouldn't be able to I think I would piss him off in the first 5 minutes and then we wouldn't have a Jason for the episode. So.
Every once in a while, you just have to punch it in the face.
Well, and he's been quoted as having said that he will hit a woman. So I'm not sure that I want him in the studio.
That's exactly what I said.
He'll kick my ass.
Every once in a while, you need to just remind her.
Sweet Jesus. Well, I'll have
Are you telling me you wouldn't pay to get punched by Sean Connery? I'd pay $1,000 for Sean Connery to punch me in the face.
It's like saying I got beat up by Muhammad Ali. It's so worth it. So
I once got punched in the face by Sean Connery. So screw you, dude.
I got scowled at by Anna Kendrick once. Is that anywhere in the ballpark?
No.
No. Darn.
Roger Waters. What?
Scowled at.
Kendrick scowled at you?
Yes, she did.
Why?
We were on the set of Table 19. My friend Amanda and I. And my other group of, we call ourselves the A-Team. Hi, A-Team. They actually tune in, so I'll give them a shout out. But Amanda and I were singing Cups. And Anna Kendrick comes around the corner while we're singing Cups. And she just looks at us like she wants to set us on fire. And I was like, this song makes you so famous. What's the problem? And we weren't even doing it in a cheeky or smart ass kind of way. We were genuinely singing the song together. Get over yourself,
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, she was like, but she looked at us like she just wanted to kick us in the teeth. I was like, all right.
That's why I love William Shatner so much. William Shatner was a joke. He was an absolute joke.
He embraces it.
And exactly. And he
went full Shatner.
He went full Shatner. He went ahead of the joke.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my God. That's the most brilliant thing anyone's ever done.
And we've talked about this so many times, even when it comes down to typecasting, like with guys like Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is on Twitter and he's Space Dad. It's a hashtag. Like he runs with it. He doesn't give a damn. He tried to get away from the whole Luke Skywalker thing at first, but then he was just like, screw it. Why not? Run with it.
Oh, quick update on something. And I know we have to go.
Yes.
We, on our last episode, when we talked about weird science, and I said I was going to go and I was going to watch the TV series, Weird Science.
Uh-huh.
I did. I went out and I bought the first episode. Loved it.
Also binge-worthy, I would imagine.
I just saw the first one. I didn't get the whole series.
Okay.
But the first episode, I loved it. And I went on Instagram and I was like, I wonder if any of the actors from the TV show are on Instagram and maybe they're in that realm where they have not so many followers that I might actually be able to...
Like me and John Roberts, how he'll respond to me on Twitter every now and then.
Like, Brad Pitt's never going to say hi to me,
Mark Hamill did say,
that's true.
He did use my hashtag. He said Honda Accurate at me on Twitter and I just melted.
So I followed, it was Vanessa Angel and then I can't remember the names, Gary and Wyatt. I found both of them. The guy who played Gary, I followed him and like 15 minutes later, I start getting notifications and he favorited like 4 of my pictures.
No way.
And he has a independent film coming out.
Okay.
That I am gonna. I think they're doing a Kickstarter.
Let's promote the hell out of it.
For the next episode, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna get the Kickstarter link. We'll promote it, and I'm gonna try to get in touch with him and see if maybe he will please come on the show.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
So maybe
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't want to be the only celeb to appear on the show. The pressure's too much for me. Let's get another.
I know. I agree with you.
That's why he's just calling in now. The pressure's just too immense for him to actually.
We can't.
It's like being at the bottom of the ocean. It's too immense for his body to handle.
Well, and I think it's fair to say that, he's at an undisclosed location, but whatever the name of that location is, it has the word compound in it.
Probably. But I did have to tell you both this since we're on the subject of celebrities and whatnot, gentlemen, since you both watch BoJack Horseman. And Adam, we've still got to talk about that. We'll talk about it later. But because we actually finished the series, unlike the guy who got us to start it in the first place. Looking at you, Jason.
I know, I'm bad. I'm 2 seasons down.
But what is the actual name of Mr. Peanut Butter, the guy who does his voice?
Oh, Paul F. Tompkins?
Paul F. Tompkins. He's on Twitter, and the other day he said how he was suffering from like an inability to sleep. He didn't say insomnia, but he was like, I woke up at like 3 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep, and I'm miserable. And I was like, what is this, an insomnia episode? And he hasn't said anything back.
Aww.
Because I'm a loser.
And on that bombshell,
as we like to do.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We had a good time.
We hope you did too.
Yeah, we hope you did too. And we're going to be here. We're going to still do episodes. We're going to be here next week again.
Absolutely.
It's court ordered, so we have to.
Yeah, you can't see it, but there are chains on our ankles. Adam hasn't really called in. He's got a cot in the corner of the room, so we're all just trapped.
Well, his parole officer wouldn't let him. It's a whole thing.
We're all under office arrest.
But we are going to be back here. But in the meantime, we do hope everybody stay safe, stay inside, chill out, relax, and stay calm. And remember, we're going to make it through this.
Enjoy the time as much as you possibly can. Find your silver linings, find your binge-worthy content, find your new books, your new favorite novels that you're going to read.
We are going to be doing episodes of this show for the next million years.
Yes, okay? This is our bread and butter, people, despite the fact that nobody spends money on us. Yeah. So somehow we're here every week.
No disease, no little virus or scare or whatever is going to stop that, okay?
We know we're the ultimate binge-worthy content for you, so we are not going to let you down during coronavirus pandemic. Exactly. I've got new blogs coming out all the time. Jason might be updating my latest one at some point.
I did. I got it today.
Awesome, because we do have to announce we did have an upcoming workshop with the famous Mr. Brown, but that has been postponed for the foreseeable future because the cities are all shut down, which you're all aware of. So we will keep you posted. We'll be doing our Instagrams, our funny pictures, the Hey Sailor pictures that I got of Jason that are on Instagram now. The girls just went wild for just call him shore leave. But we are going to stay in touch. We're going to keep our profiles updated. And we're just here for you guys. So please reach out if you're bored. Talk to us on the Twitter and the Instagram and the Facebook. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, and having said that, thank you very much, Adam B., for joining us again.
My pleasure. And I've got homework, so I know I'll be back.
There you go. And for everybody here at Hindsight is Horrifying, be safe, be well, be calm, and we will see you next week. Good night.
This is Hindsight, and good night.